Welcome to Brain Food Live on Air, bringing it to you every Friday, no fail. It's episode 368, folks. And today I've been looking forward to this show for a very long time, over a month, as a matter of fact, because this is one of those shows that's really based on some amazing content that you, members of the community, have produced. Now, all of us, of course, are extremely interested in how LinkedIn works, particularly the mighty LinkedIn newsfeed. I think a lot of us generate a lot of our content on there. We get a lot of our business opportunities from there. And of course, as recruiters, we're wholly dependent not only on using LinkedIn as a place to find candidates, but also as a place for us to distribute content and to build our presence and build our brand. And so today we're going to have a kind of a two-part show where we're going to do a report review from my friend David Arnaud, who's going to go through a bunch of stuff that he's done, some amazing research he's done with his business on how LinkedIn's algorithm is currently working as of Q1 2026. And then we're going to switch into a panel debate where we'll discuss exactly how that impacts what we should be doing if we want to increase our visibility and increase our reach. So that's Brain Food Live, folks. I hope everyone can hear and see me okay. Let me know in the comments if that's the case, by the way. If you're watching this on Crowdcast, do let me know whether the audio and visual is fine. We should be blasting this out on a number of LinkedIn. So I'll be live streaming this on my own LinkedIn. So if you're watching it on there, do say hello. Let me know if the audio and visual is okay. And I do believe Rob Walker and I think Amy Wiedner is also live streaming this as well. So thanks, Rob and Amy. If you're watching it on any of those two live streams, let me know in the comments. And we should be good to go. Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. Thank you very much, Anesthesia. Thank you, Rob. I think audio looks pretty good from here. And hello, Misha from Mexico City. How exciting. It's been like 20 years since I was last in Mexico. And Misha told me when I saw her last that actually she was on like a 6-week sabbatical over in Mexico. I was like mega jealous. But she's dialing in from far away. So I'd be very interested to hear her as we go through. Okay, cool. Well, listen, before we go into Brain Food Live, of course, we have to thank our sponsors because without our sponsors, we cannot do this show. And I'm pleased to say one of our repeat sponsors, probably one of our new favorites, really, is Mackie People. Mackie, of course, are basically the company that's going to produce all kinds of automations which help you to hire faster, particularly if you're in the high volume hiring space. Tremendously exciting company. Started off really as a AI interview screener, but I think they're doing so much more now. But rather than have me kind of mangle the value proposition of Mackie any further, why don't I bring on one of their founders and he can tell us all about it. So Ben, I've just sent you an invite. There he is. There he is, Ben, the Chino. How are you doing, Ben? By the way, I have to say, congratulations on the hairstyle. Wonderful volume there, and great curls, lots of character. This is good.
Thank you. It's amazing, Hung, how each time I come on the show, you always comment on my hair. So thank you very much for that.
This is only because I have a problem, man. I'm becoming having a phobia with this. I need to I have no hairstyle. Like I need some help. So whenever I see guests that come on, they got like banging hairstyles. I'm like, okay, well, I need the help. What's going on? Anyway, Ben, great to see you. For the folks who don't know you, can you introduce yourself? Like, who are you? What it is you do?
Sure. So hello, everyone. My name is Ben. I am one of the co-founders of Mackie, and I lead everything tech. For those of you who don't know Mackie, we are an end-to-end agentic orchestration platform that literally autopilots hiring operations for our customers. We indeed started with screening. We went into assessment. We're now touching to interviewing. And the idea is really to help run the end-to-end hiring flow for some of the largest companies in the world. So this is what we do. And by the way, Hung, every time I come on your show, I always bring gifts. So this time I'm bringing a new gift, which is about the EU AI Act. Because honestly, I mean,
How is that a gift? You're going to give us a gift. You're going to give us regulations. What are you talking about?
So the thing is, for the past, I think 2 months, I've literally spent more time talking about, that regulation than actually building the product, right? And so I think that it's high time that we try and, make that as clear as possible about what it is, what it means for vendors, what it means for deployers. So most of you on the show today. And so what we're going to be sending to your audience is a package that literally gives you everything you need to know about the regulation, about what you need to ask to your vendors, right? Because the line is super thin about what you need vendors to do, but also what you need to do, right? And I think when you think about when the high risk system regulation comes into play, it's in August. And that's literally tomorrow, right? You have 5 months to prep for that. And so we want to help people prep. And hopefully we can go back to building instead of talking about what this regulation does. So look out for an email coming from Mackie, and you should have everything that you need in order to really grasp what's coming in August.
Yeah, super valuable. And I think, you know what, the vendors have got such an important role to play on this, Ben, because a lots of operators, they're busy doing all kinds of different things. They don't know what sort of how to play it. So great leadership from you guys to basically say, look, here are the things that you must do, and here's the direction of travel. And I guess from a vendor side, you've got to just build according to the compliance framework, don't you? So it makes sense for you guys to stay within there. Any highlights that you can drop straight away on the top end, Ben? I mean, what generally should companies or operators be thinking about getting into place? They're going to read the document for sure, but do you have anything on the top of your head that you might want to share for the community here?
Yeah, sure. So I think, when it comes to vendors, and I hope you guys can see my screen, there are a bunch of things that you need to ask. But the most important ones are going to be, are you guys doing AI testing, bias mitigation, right? And that's super, super important, especially as you venture into AI screening, AI interviewing, and so on, because you don't want to have, a player that basically just use a GPT wrapper and that's it to actually do those very critical operations. Then obviously you need to ensure that there's human oversight, and that there's transparency both in terms of what you say to candidates, but also how you can explain what is happening behind the AI, right? So that's really like on the vendor side. And on the deployer side, there are a couple of things that you need to ensure that you're doing. The main important ones are going to be, one, make sure that you actually use the tool as you're intended to use the tool, and that's very important to follow the instructions that are given by the vendor. Two, that you're able to provide explanations whenever a candidate asks for those. And so again, that ties back to what the vendor is able to give you. And last one, really being transparent, informing end users, and just being very upfront about the fact that it is a reality, right? Today, you need AI in order to perform, and you need AI in order to absorb the inbound that's coming. But at the same time, you need to do so in a responsible way. So everything will be detailed. Look out for the package coming from Mackie. And obviously, on top of my chief product officer, I'm very happy also to be the chief regulation officer. So if you have any specific question, I'm here to help.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Okay, folks. Expect an email from Mackie on this. Super valuable. By the way, if it is the document is ready to go, I might well share it in the newsletter on Sunday as well. It's the kind of thing we do need to keep an eye on and just make sure that we're compliant with the regulations that are coming out here. Okay, Ben, brilliant stuff. Thanks you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show here. We've got more French people on. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for you, but that's happening soon. I'm going to bring David on, and enjoy the rest of the show, Ben. Thanks a lot for coming on. Great stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, it's super useful. I agree, Hannah. And this is not. I think operators or deployers is the new language now. Deployers of AI. That's what you are, and that's what we are. We are already like so maxed out. I think it's so difficult to keep an eye on what's happening regulation wise, and we're so sort of tempted to just reach for a tool or a solution that we think, okay, it's going to do the job for us. I think basically frameworks like this that Mackie are about to share with us hopefully will give us a bit more equipment to a bit more confidence really to make the right sort of selections going forward. Okay, cool. Let's just roll on forward to this. I'm going to bring on David here straight away. Actually, how do I even do that? This is all very chaotic. There we go. I think I can do this. And I'm going to share a link, by the way, to David's sort of post, which really kicked all of this off about 2 or 3 months or so ago, where basically it was really interesting analysis on like I think millions of LinkedIn posts. Actually, it wasn't millions. It was 66,000 LinkedIn posts or something. So a large volume of LinkedIn posts to see which ones were actually traveling through the system and which seemed to be working. I thought it was a fascinating piece of research, and I thought, you know what, great to have some of this intelligence here with us. And why not see if we can bring David on again? David, another Frenchman with great hair. What's going on with this?
David, I got a hair compliment. I was wondering if I was
you know what? There's a few characters coming on later. I'm not sure they're going to get the same treatment, but but we'll see. Tony, yeah, better get your hair in order. David, great to see you. Hopefully you stay on screen with us. It's been a while since we last connected, but wonderful to see you and doing well. I wonder whether you could introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you? What it is you do, David?
1 2 1 2.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure you can hear me though. Yeah. Are you back?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everything good on the audio?
Yeah. You sound perfect now, man.
Okay, super. Yeah, I was wondering if I was going to get a hair compliment. Thanks a bunch. That's just made my it's made my day. Yeah, definitely too much French is never good. But I'll try to sort of live up to the intro you did. Hung, good to see you again. Hey everybody. So my name's David, and basically I have sort of 2-3 hats. By day, I'm a fractional GTM strategist. So I help B2B and B2C companies figure out their go-to-market using AI. I run a venture studio called Humanoids, and what we do is we build AI native autonomous businesses. So we have 6 or 7 businesses at the moment. One of those is called Viral Brain. It's a LinkedIn growth tool. And kind of what makes Viral Brain interesting and different is it's completely data driven. So what we do is we analyze, I think we've analyzed almost 1 million posts, LinkedIn posts at this point. So everything I'm going to share today isn't opinion. There's a little bit of opinion, but it's what the data is actually saying. And I'll walk you through some of the most interesting findings, hopefully things that are very practical that you can use right away to get more visibility on your posts. And I'll do a quick demo at the tool at the end, maybe like 1 or 2 minutes. And maybe do 1 or 2 little shameless plugs because, you know, I get your attention now. So I'll do a little bit of sales as well.
Not a problem at all, mate. But yeah, really interesting. I mean, again, also interesting to see where you're going with your own career as well, David. You know, running multiple organizations. I guess the moment is exactly this: the ability to automate so many things. But okay, let's do the screen share here. This is the secrets of the LinkedIn algorithm. There we go. Before we dive in, David, a few things that we should really kind of discuss is that I think over the last 6 months or so, maybe even a year, a lot of people have been stepping up and saying, hey, listen, I think LinkedIn is killing my reach. Something has changed. Nothing's sort of working anymore. What's your general vibe on that? I mean, we know social media algorithms change all the time. Has anything significant happened over the last 12 months that you think actually we can point to that as some sort of break point where, you know, behaviors of creators had to change, or what? I mean, what's your read on it, David?
So it's not even an opinion. So they changed their approach. It's called Brew 360 now. It's an algorithmic approach to the new LinkedIn algorithm, and it basically puts you in buckets, centers of interest. So you see a lot more complaining from the bigger accounts because they used to have broad reach. Now they have much smaller reach, and they're only able to hit part of that reach. So actually, if you've started building up your LinkedIn reach and audience for the past 6 months, 7 months, you won't have felt it as much as if you were a large account. And I'll go into the details of that in the intelligence report. I'll explain Brew 360, what's important, how the algorithm acts as a classifier, and how you can make some basic optimizations. Long story short, you're put in a circle of interest, and that's the only part of your audience that you reach now.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Okay, David, let's just roll forward. By the way, folks, if you've got any questions for David, use the Q&A function at the right-hand side of the screen here. I mean, we are obviously on chat, but let's isolate the questions on the Q&A so that we can kind of go to them and we don't lose the questions in the thread that you might have. So, okay, David, click through this. Let's see what we got, man.
Cool. How much time do I have? I know you already told me 2, 3 times. Do I need to powerhouse through it, or can I
Oh
spend a
no,
good 20 minutes?
you can slow walk this. I mean, if you're
Okay.
too slow, I'll move you along, David. But yeah, let's get
All right,
on with,
cool.
let's make sure we don't miss anything out.
All right. First of all, proof is in the pudding. I'm not a huge LinkedIn account. I'm at 2/3 of where Hung is, for example, but I've only been taking it seriously for the past year, I would say. So it took me maybe 7 years to get to the first 20K. And then since last year, I've actually started taking it seriously. So I went from 20K to I'm at 43K followers now in about a year. And I think I'm hitting about 3.4 million impressions now over 12 months. I know it's vanity metrics, but for me, it's still a leading indicator of having a larger audience, and audience is king nowadays, now that everybody can build and we're in a big attention economy. So I actually think LinkedIn's more important than ever, as well as closed communities. The interesting thing is kind of the acceleration here. This is when I started actually applying what our data is telling us over here. And by the way, we've cooked all of this data into the tool that we've built that's called a Viral Brain. So I'm going to share a lot of information with you. If it's too much information to handle, then you can use our platform. If not, what you can do is you can take the transcript from this call or the report that I'll share you, turn it into an MD file and stick it in your Claude Code or stick it in whatever LLM you're using to sort of embed that into your workflow. What's interesting also is I'm the same person. It was the same topics. I just got smarter about how I'm writing and formatting. I'm actually not that impressed with my work. This is my co-founder, Walid Boulanoir. He started from zero basically because he's a developer. He's a coder. Now he's at like 19K followers, 1 million impressions, and both of us using the exact same principles that I'm about to share. And this matters, I would say, for you because, if you're posting to attract candidates, get more visibility on your brand, on your business, or build your employer brand, visibility is definitely the game. It's annoying to be in an attention economy, I know, but it's just reality. And the best job post in the world doesn't matter if nobody sees it. That's why we used to say content marketing was 50% building the actual content, 50% distribution. I guess it's the same thing when you're trying to hire or when you're trying to sell yourself or your value proposition. So we did a little bit of analysis, and we're continuously doing analysis, which we cook into the tool. And every quarter, we're going to share a report now. This is the first one. When Hung reached out, I shared it about a month ago. So this number is no longer 62K. It's 300,000 posts now that we've analyzed on LinkedIn. And we've cross-referenced that with LinkedIn's own published research on their algorithm called Brew 360. We put it all in the report. You can download it for free. I'll send it over. I'll share it at the end, but not now, or else you're not going to listen to what I say. I'm going to give you some of the highlights. Go ahead.
Quick stop, David. The sort of when you're talking about these posts, how are you actually ingesting these posts? Like, can you give us a bit of insight there?
Nope. We're analyzing posts in using an API.
Yeah. So basically, but is it a random selection of posts, for instance, or is it
good question on methodology? Okay, so I can answer that one. So if you go to Viral Brain, you can actually see who we're.
Oh, we seem to have lost David here. Let's hope David comes back, but it doesn't look like he is. Okay, folks, is David frozen or am I? Oh, we've lost him. That's it. I think it was David that actually got blasted out, isn't it? Okay, well, that was very exciting. I'm sure David will return with more revelations, but he's currently off screen. Let me see if I can retrieve him. And we'll get there from it. Okay, folks, we might as well open this out to debate. With regards to sort of LinkedIn sort of posting, we all know things have changed. This Brew 360, I need to get my own head around it. But what is it? How have you changed your approach in posting? When you saw that some of your posts were actually losing reach. Did you have a sort of a policy change? Were you posting more? Were you posting less? What kind of things were you doing or have you done that makes any difference? I've got to be honest, I don't think I've changed my stuff in any way. It's more like I've just, I continue to be fairly high volume, to be honest. So I think my general vibe is just like quantity. So it's probably not a positive thing for a lot of, I think, people to know. But yeah, just get stuff out. So generally speaking, that's been my approach. But be interested to know what you're doing. Okay, I think David's back. David, you're back. Too many things sort of flying around in your Chrome browser, bro. That's probably what it is. But great to have you back. And yeah, let's jump straight back in. So essentially, where were we? We were talking about.
You were asking me about methodology, and then the chat was saying it wasn't kosher. It is kosher. I just don't want to share too much about the methodology. But what I'll do is I can just show you. So you can already go to Viral Brain today, and you can check out, you can explore heroes. So you can see everybody's, whose LinkedIn content we're sort of analyzing. So we take the top 30, 40 from the past 2-3 months from all of these users over here. So you go to viralbrain.ai/app/heroes. And one of my heroes is, of course, hung over here. And then I'll do a little demo later, so I can show you your writing style, how you write, et cetera, et cetera. And what's pretty cool is I can actually create a similar post to your best content, because one of the ideas we had with Viral Brain was we all have these heroes whose content we wish we could emulate on LinkedIn. What if I could actually emulate one of your posts, but with my style and with my tone and with my style? Really, and I'll talk a little bit more about methodology in a little bit. I will show everybody a little bit under the hood of how we build this. Before I do that, a little bit of a disclaimer. So none of this is gospel, right? So we are also figuring it out as we go. And one thing I'm not going to talk about during the presentation is I'm not going to talk about commenting and commenting strategies. I know there's a lot of questions around commenting strategies, but it's not something that I'm going to talk about. So everything here is based on correlations from real data. The algorithm's AI driven. Even LinkedIn's own engineers don't fully understand every decision. I've had a chat with 2 or 3 people who are ex-LinkedIn or currently at LinkedIn, but the algorithm change was to improve the quality of what we see on LinkedIn. To be fair, compared to all the sort of broetry that was online about a year and a half ago, I know a lot of people are sort of complaining about AI slop on LinkedIn. I actually think the quality's gone up. It's much more actionable, it's much more educational, and it's less selfies telling you that how picking up their kids yesterday taught them everything they know about B2B sales. So I actually kind of like the way that the content on LinkedIn's going at the moment. The one thing I don't like personally is the automated comments. I think those are really cringe, and they're hurting sort of the back and forth that we see, and they're so easy to spot. Okay, let's go into the actual details. The biggest thing that most people don't know, even some of those gurus, I've seen them posting recently, like they just found out about this. This has been going on for the past 6, 7, 8 months. You can go check if you do like Brew360 LinkedIn file type PDF on your Gemini or on your Google, you can find the research. LinkedIn completely replaced its old ranking system with a single AI model, and it's called Brew360. So what's changed? Under the old system, your post had about 1 hour to approve itself. That's why we saw all those engagement pods. If you didn't get enough likes fast, you were dead. And now what's happening is the posts are resurfacing days later. So the AI is reading what your post actually means, not just how many people liked in the first 60 minutes. And the most important change is that your profile is now acting as a classifier. So the algorithm is matching your content to readers based on how well your post aligns with your profile. That's why I was talking about buckets, about circles. Your profile now acts as a classifier. I'll give you a few tips in a few seconds. So if you're a recruiter posting about talent acquisition, what do you guys post about? Hiring culture, employer branding, you get it amplified to the right people. If you go off topic, so it's kind of creating, to a certain extent, resonance. If you go echo chamber, sorry. If you go off topic and the algorithm doesn't know who to show you to then your reach actually goes down. So what does this mean for you? Actionable. Because your profile is now a classifier, it needs to be optimized for who you're targeting, not what you do, for who you're targeting. Think of it as a landing page. So your banner's like your billboard. Your headline needs keywords that the algorithm can match, right? Like talent acquisition, employer branding, hiring. And not many people know this. Your top 5 skills, not your top recommended skills, your top 5 skills in your profile should be what your ideal audience is looking for, not just what you're good at. So if you're trying to attract engineering candidates, your skills should signal that world, so to speak, and get verified. Also, apparently that helps. It builds trust and may affect reach. This one is kind of that's kind of a rumor that being verified increases your reach. And by the way, it's really easy to get verified. It's just with your mobile number. So just to give you an example, what am I talking about? So your banner is kind of like your billboard. It's your CTA. This one's not important for the algorithm, but that one's usually important as a call to action for people who are visiting your profile. The ones that are really important for the algorithm is over here. So your headline. So I've adapted my headline to the target audience that I have, to my ICP. Also your about section. And finally, your top skills. So I don't know if you know this, on your profile, you can edit your profile and you can put your top 5 skills. This is how it decides which bucket to put you into. So if you haven't done so already, optimize your profile to be able to attract the right audience and to be in the bucket of the right audience. And this is really sort of simple to update. By the way, we have a bunch of free tools at viralbrain.ai/tools. We have like a banner generator tool, LinkedIn headline optimizer tool, LinkedIn bio optimizer tool, et cetera, just to make your lives a little bit easier. So that's the power law of what I'm presenting today. Make sure you optimize your profile for your ICP so that you fall in that bucket and the LinkedIn algorithm classifies you in the right with the right audience. Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about.
Quick one, David, before I just want to interrupt. A quick one to the audience. Were you aware that your LinkedIn profile itself is now an important contributor to the reach of your content? It's a classifier. I certainly wasn't. I mean, if you look at my profile, there's not a lot of TA in there, and it should be. I'm literally putting some graffiti in my about page. I probably need to correct for that. So there's a lot of things I think here that's super interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Was this open information to you, or is it kind of a new idea for you? Be good to know where you where your knowledge level was before you hit this webinar. Okay, sorry, David, go ahead.
No, this is good. Double click on stuff. And by the way, so go check out the tools. If you use the search, we have a banner optimizer. There's a profile optimizer, bunch of free tools so that you can start doubling down on what I'm saying. And as I mentioned, we cooked all of the information here into the tools. Oh, I have so much to go through. Okay, let's talk about hooks. For anyone who doesn't know, a hook is the very first line of your post. So it's a BuzzFeed's, clickbaity beginning. Most people only read the headline. They never read the actual article. It's the only thing people see in their feed before they decide to keep scrolling or stop and read. And on LinkedIn, you want to stop the scroll. Here's why it matters so much for the algorithm. When someone is scrolling LinkedIn, the first 2 or 3 lines of your post are visible. You see here, the first 2-3 lines over here. Everything else is hidden behind a see more button, the little more button over here. LinkedIn counts that as a signal. It tells the algorithm the person found this interesting enough to want to read more. So that's a form of engagement, just like a like or a comment. So the more people click see more, the more the algorithm thinks your post is worth showing to other people. That's why if you use Viral Brain, or if you listen to what I'll say next, we spend so much time on the actual hook. Your hook is literally like the gateway to all of your reach. So we analyzed every opening line in our data set, and there's a style of hook that works really well. I know it's cringe. I know it's annoying, but it works. I use it a lot, and it's called a curiosity gap. Curiosity gaps win by a massive margin. They get 66% higher see more and win rates when you use a curiosity gap. What's a curiosity gap? It's when you hint at something interesting, but you don't give the full answer. So you create a gap between what the reader knows and what they want to know. And the only way to close that gap is to hit read more. I'll give you a bunch of examples over here. So usually what you want to do is line 1, emotional punch, contradiction, curiosity, blank line, the gap. So I'll give you a few examples. This are a few I posted a while back. Pizza orders have spiked around the Pentagon. Blank line. You know what that means. Tell me what that means. Of course, somebody's going to click more. I've been using AI for 1,000+ days. Blank line. I canceled most of my subscriptions. You're going to click read more, right? Because you want to know what happens next. This one, more followers equals way more engagement, right? Nope. These are the posts analyzed, say otherwise. For example, more. Hung, I think you clicked on this one. We 100x our organic reach, SEO, GEO without writing blogs, space. Here's the exact playbook we used, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of the first step. If your hook's not good, you don't get you don't get people hitting read more, you don't stop the scroll, the algorithm doesn't like you. You didn't even need to build that post in the first place. And it's a shame, because if you spend a lot of time on your post, it's a shame that they don't get seen more. I could give you an example from, so I ran this one twice over here. And one time I focused on the hook, and another time I didn't focus on the hook. And when I did focus on the hook a little bit, so where is it? Yeah, you don't need 200. No, it wasn't this one. It was this one. Most people using Claude Code are at level 2. They don't know it. We mapped out 10 levels of Claude Code mastery based on, please tell me more. And this one did really good, right? 200K impressions, 1,600 comments. It's what we call a lead magnet. If I hadn't worked on my hook, I would never have gotten these results over here. So if you use the tools, or if you listen to the tips, focus on the hook, focus on the hook. It's like if you build a big report internally, focus on the executive summary, because the board never reads more than the executive summary anyway. Cool. Next thing, these are smaller, right? Less important, but kind of interesting too. Posts that include a specific number in the hook are twice as likely to go viral or to perform well. Not vague numbers like specific ones. I analyzed 300,000 posts. It helps, and it just attracts a lot more than I analyzed a lot of posts. We reduced time to hire by 34%. That has a much bigger impact than we improved our hiring speed. Why does this work? It's because numbers, they create credibility. It's like seeing a use case, and they signal that you actually measured what you're talking about, that you have proof. And for the reader, like, this number gives them a reason to stop scrolling. So whatever you're posting about, try to find a number, how many candidates, what percentage improvement, how many days did it take, et cetera, et cetera. That works well. Next, this one was interesting. Start with I. This one kind of surprised us. So first person hooks, the posts that start with I, they outperform by, I can't remember what 38%. I just interviewed 50 candidates in 2 weeks. Beats how to interview 50 candidates in 2 weeks. It's also less pedantic, less paternalistic, or maternalistic, if we're being gender neutral. It makes sense when you think about it, because LinkedIn's a social platform. So people want to hear from people, not from brands or textbooks. Starting with I immediately signals this is a real person sharing a real story. And it ties back to the algorithm. Brew360 wants to prioritize content that drives genuine engagement. So I actually think they are making LinkedIn way, way better than it was a year and a half ago. And personal stories from real people, they get more comments. I mean, it is a social network after all. Next one. So here's a weird one. I thought it was interesting to share today. Questions and hooks, they get more comments, but they actually kill your reach. So that's kind of like a paradox. So what's happening is when you say something like, what's your biggest hiring challenge? And people reply with one-word answers like budget, speed, or ghosting, you get 50 comments, but the algorithm sees those comments as low quality engagement. So short comments don't signal deep interest, and the post doesn't get shown to more people because nobody clicked see more. Nobody spent more time reading it. If you compare that to a curiosity gap hook that gets like 20 comments, but every comment is like a paragraph, people sharing their real stories, that's high quality engagement. So I just say use questions strategically, not as a default. What are your thoughts? What do you think? La-di-da-di-da. In terms of content, so this is pretty interesting. 4 rules for the body of your post. First, write long. And then again, this is not gospel. This is just what the data says, right? What our data shows is that posts, and it's correlation versus causation, and maybe it depends on the industry that you're in. So just take it lightly. Yeah, you'll get all the slides, no worry. And I also build an MD file, a markdown file. So if you're using an LLM, you can just feed it into your markdown file if you're using Claude Code or Claude Cowork or whatever. So post between 1,000 and 3,000 characters do better than the shorter posts. Break it up. I know it's annoying. I hate this one. I go against this one. Short paragraph give you 71% improvement. That's why you also see all that spacing, that LinkedIn style of writing. That means 1 or 2 sentences per paragraph. The reason is most people are on mobile, so a wall of text, it's like instant death. Short paragraphs, it creates white space, which makes your post feel easy to read through, and it keeps people scrolling down. So they're dwelling on your post longer. You want people to dwell on your post. And then third, write simple. Oh, what world we live in. Grade 5 to sense reading level. So if you're using words that average more than 5 letters, you're losing 39% of your engagement, essentially. That's what the data's saying. This isn't about dumbing it down. It's about clarity. So the best performers, they write like they're explaining to somebody something to a smart friend, not writing an academic paper. And that's also where you can spot the AI slop right away, right? That was trained on academic papers, and you can tell it's been written by AI. And then fourth, just try to weave some personal stories in there. Every viral pattern we found has some personal element. Every viral pattern we found has some personal element. Another thing I want to say is that the algorithm is really flimsy. Consistency is key. So you want to be posting 3, 4, 5 days a week, because it's like lottery tickets. And for some weird reason, your great post doesn't get picked up, and that post that you just did off the cuff in a few minutes does get picked up. It's also why we built Viral Brain. I'm not plugging it here. I'm just trying to explain. We built it so that it can be like a filler for all those off days where you can't build actual content. You want to be posting 3, 4, 5 days a week. That's really difficult. And that's why we built it to scratch our own itch. We had like 1 or 2 posts per week where we were building something that really meant something to us. And for all the other days we wanted filler content. You see something on YouTube, you see another creator posting something, you think, I could have posted that. And the idea is you want your content calendar to be full, at least 3, 4, 5 days a week of actual content. Let me go back to the actual content here. So that's the content findings. In terms of format, format matters way more than people actually think. Long story short, carousels, they get 4 times the reach of text-only posts. Portrait images twice more than text-only post. It's pretty simple. You're on your mobile, doom scrolling on LinkedIn, and then what happens is you see a big image, and it's just stopping the scroll, and you're owning like 70% of the real estate on the screen. Educational infographics are doing really, really good at the moment. So if you can take something complex and simplify it into a visual, you've got the best shot at going viral or getting more impact. What else? And then, yeah, I don't like to use emojis anymore because it feels like it's been done by an LLM, but it seems that emojis in post perform well. Here's a little cheat sheet of what that looks like. Carousels, you want to use vertical images, and if possible, you want to use infographics. Is my post doing well? Here's some benchmarks. So this table shows you what normal, good, and excellent look like, depending on how many followers you have. So if you have like 5K followers and your post got 50 likes, you can look at this table and see that that's actually kind of good. Or if you got 10 likes, that's below average. You can screenshot this, or I'll share it afterwards. Something else that's interesting, small accounts are winning. This one's really encouraging, especially if you're just starting out or if you don't have a huge following yet. Small accounts have a massive advantage in engagement rate. So our data showed that under 1K followers, your engagement rate is like, what was it? It's hidden under here. Oh, 300. I think it's this one over here. I think it's hidden behind my thing. Oh, 2.38%. So the idea is that there's a 400% difference on the engagement rate if you're a small account versus larger account. Why is that? It's because of the algorithm change. That's it. So the algorithm is no longer rewarding large accounts that broadcast to passive audiences where most people follow but never interact. So it's now or never to sort of build up your brand again. It's David versus Goliath again at the moment. Timing versus strategy. Again, take this with a pinch of salt. Our data showed that a lot of us are actually on LinkedIn on Sundays. Sunday was by far the best day for likes and comments, right? And for reach. Why? There's less competition, fewer people post on weekends, but plenty of people are still browsing LinkedIn on a lazy Sunday. Apparently, we're not on TikTok, we're not on Insta, we're not on Snap, we're on LinkedIn scrolling on the weekends. Saturday was second, then Tuesday, and Monday is dead last for every single creator that we analyzed. Things to avoid: get rid of the hashtags. They tank your performance by 70%. The algorithm reads your text directly now. Hashtags are basically like redundant. Thoughts as a closing question is dead. Corporate jargon, just kill it, and then don't post on a Monday.
Mate, my premium newsletter, my secondary newsletter goes out Mondays. You just ruined my entire approach, David. I mean,
I don't know about emails though. I don't have data on emails. Might be good.
Anyway,
maybe
brilliant stuff,
man.
No, I really love this. Go on. Sorry, continue, David.
No, it's all good. So if you're interested in this, we bake all of this into the tool. So essentially, I'll show you here. What we do is, like, when you start with Viral Brain, basically you put your LinkedIn in there. So you just drop your LinkedIn URL, and you put 2-3 of your heroes. And then what happens is we give you a few ideas on what you could be writing about based on what's trending and based on what you like to write about. We try to analyze your tone of voice. So we see how your tone of voice, what your tone of voice looks like. If you want to fine tune your tone of voice, the best way is to basically add text. So you click on add recent posts and you drop a few pieces of text and you rework your tone of voice to get your tone of voice right. But we've already analyzed your tone of voice and we're going to write like you've been writing for the past month or two. Then what you have is you have your post creator. You can build a post based off of a hero. So for example, I could take like a post from Hung, and I could take a mix of 3-4 of his latest posts, or I could take a post from like Greg Eisenberg, for example, take this post here and make a similar post just on the subject, not on the tone and style, or make a mix of multiple of his posts. Or if you want to be a bit more creative, a recent YouTube video you saw, a recent article, a recent Reddit thread image. You can also do a voice note. So I want to write about an analogy between how hard it is to recruit nowadays and the Peloponnesian Wars, something like that. And then I'm going to transcribe to use, and then I'm going to hit generate, and it's going to create a post for me. Kind of an interesting post there. So then what you do is the post gets created. We give you a bunch of tips based on all the algorithmic tips I gave you here. So you can accept those tips, or you can click here to see more details about what are we actually suggesting here. So you can apply this, or you can ask why this. So this is a little bit like your post editor in here. What else can you do? You can chat with the post. I like it, but I want you to refine the post a little bit and give it a little bit more meat in the middle, something like that. And then when you're happy with it, you can either reanalyze it or you can save it to draft. So I can go ahead, click here, save it to draft. I can view all of my drafts over here. Or if I go back to the post creator, you can post to LinkedIn directly. We believe that LinkedIn doesn't like it when you schedule posts. So my recommendation is that, and also they don't like it when the LinkedIn post comes from an external tool. So what we make you do is copy the post. So we copy it, and then you go ahead and you actually paste it over here. And another cool thing you can do is you can create images. So based on the post here, we got a bunch of templates. So you just click here and you can create that actual image. Portrait, landscape, square, et cetera, generate the image, and then you'll see you can edit your image as well. So there's a little like brush tool so that you can edit the image. 60 more seconds on Viral Brain. You can also build carousels if you go to the carousel maker over here. Over here, you've got all of your assets. So all of the images that you've created will pop up over here. You've got your drafts over here. You've got your knowledge base here. So you can put your PDFs, company information, all of that stuff. The idea guy has no excuses. So that was the post it created. And I can, the image, sorry, I can go ahead, I can edit it. I can edit with the brush. What can I, yeah. And I could say like AI edit, get rid of that face. It's really ugly. And then I can apply it. And then when I'm done, I can save to assets. and then you'll see it pops up in my assets over here. So you start building assets for your over here, carousel maker if you want to turn your post into carousels. And my favorite is really like my heroes. So I'm continuously analyzing a bunch of my heroes online, and when I don't know what to write about, I create a similar post either to my best performing post from the past, create similar post here, or from one of my heroes. I can create, if I can look at all of their recent posts that went viral and try to create something similar. Sometimes it's too similar, so you got to go back to the post creator and actually change it up a bit. If you use it, please use the check function to go back and forth, and try to get your score over here to like 85 and more. It means your post is ready to go viral. Main point is be consistent. Your calendar should be full of posts. You want to be posting 3, 4, 5 times a month. If you become part of Viral Brain, I also invite you to a WhatsApp group where we share tools, tips, all of that stuff. Okay, that's enough for the shameless plug. That was kind of like the live demo. I think I can do a few questions. Hung, can I do one more plug? One more?
It's got to be like 60 seconds, man, because we've got to bring other people on, but go ahead.
Yeah, 60 seconds. Our venture studios also, we built something called Hire Cards. Since I'm talking to a room full of recruiters, the idea is simple. You don't have a talent shortage, we believe. You have a hiring alignment problem. And most of the roles, they fail not because there's not enough candidates, but because the team wasn't aligned on what's great looks like before they start searching. And so we've built a tool where basically we have a bunch of data sources, and you have a reality card that scores how hireable the role actually is, like a feasibility score out of 10 based on real market data from Adzuna, Jubal, Reed, LinkedIn. There's also a pay card, a skills card, et cetera, et cetera. Just go check it out. We're releasing this week. That's why I just wanted to plug it a little bit. And now I'm going to stop plugging, or else you'll never invite me ever again.
Always welcome, David. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. Virtual round of applause there. Brilliant to get that knowledge drop. I think even if you just if you just watched that last 30 minutes, I think you'll already get tons of value from it. I'd be interested to see what kind of LinkedIn profile edit activity we get on the back of that share. Brilliant stuff. Okay, David, we're going to move forward and bring on some of our other guests that basically have some, experience of building profiles. Like, how does it actually work? How does it work with other people that perhaps aren't particularly in the mentality to build profiles? So, there's a lot of people out there, CEOs, leaders, maybe if people from a different generation, etc. They're all people that basically might need help, but they may need the assistance to do it. They want to do it for you type of service. So we're going to bring them on and then have them chew over some of the stuff that you shared with us, David. So let me let you go now. Brilliant stuff. We might bring you back if we have time. But thank you so much for the knowledge share so far. It's been brilliant stuff. And congratulations so far on your business as well. It's been great.
Thanks,
to see
Hung.
how you're
Sorry for the timing.
No. Timing's been brilliant. Take it easy, man. Cool. Wasn't that great, guys? Definitely so much food for thought. I realize I've got so much to do in terms of my own sort of, Crowdcast has just screwed me up here. I do believe it stopped me from interacting with anybody. All right. What's going to have to happen is Amy, Tony, and Misha, I might have to get you to raise your hands if that's possible, because I don't think I can actually invite you otherwise. It seems rather strange. But yeah, I'd love to get you on. Amy, here you are. I can only ban you as a user. Like, how is that even useful? Okay. Right. I tell you what, I'd love to find a way to do this. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take a risk, massive risk. It's open stage, so actually anybody can join the stage. But please don't join the stage unless you're Tony Restell, Misha Collins, or Amy Wiedner. I think you should just come on down. There you go, Amy. Brilliant. Tony is here as well. I think Misha's here as well. And Misha with the tan is here as well. Good Lord. Great to see you, Misha. Tony's here as well. I think Amy will arrive shortly. Okay. We're all here, but Misha, you came on screen first, so why don't we quickly introduce ourselves here? Misha, who are you? What it is you do?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry, I am a bit sick, so if I'm sounding a bit croaky, that is why. But I am Misha Collins. I built my own personal brand on LinkedIn. So I think I started posting around 18 months ago, and from there growing my following to nearly 54,000 followers, which is amazing. And I've built an entire business on LinkedIn. So I help people with ghostwriting, I create content for them, and then I also coach people on how they can build their personal brands on LinkedIn too. So yeah, very, very orientated around LinkedIn. And it's the platform that I have to thank for my following and my entire business.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Thanks for joining, Misha. I'm sorry if you're feeling ill, but great to have you soldier on with us. I've just shared Misha's LinkedIn there, so please make sure you connect. Tony, you might need to fiddle with your camera here. I think I've just got a blank screen, so I'd love to get you on screen. There you go, brilliant. Amy, let's go to you. Can you quickly introduce yourself, who are you, what it is you do, my dear?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy. I have a personal branding agency. I help founders and brands build on LinkedIn, similar to you, Misha, through Done For You, through consulting, and through team workshops. And I also run a community called the Bold Community for women creators who want to build businesses off their personal brands on LinkedIn. Because similar to you, Misha, LinkedIn allowed me to build a business. Literally, I don't even have a website still. I'm a year and a half in. And I'm delighted with life. And it's an incredible tool. And by the way, just really quickly, that session was so mind blowing. I have been so deep in trying to figure out the new algorithm updates and everything. And like the way that David just summarized it was just incredible. So thanks, Hung, for having us.
No, brilliant to have you on, everyone. And Tony, great to see you as well. Can you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do, Tony?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me today. Tony Restel. I run a social media agency called Social Hire. I previously built and sold a job board business, and so off the back of that, a lot of our clients are recruitment agencies or tech providers that serve the recruitment industry.
Yeah, brilliant to have you on the show, Tony. Okay, so we just saw this brilliant session. Loads of interesting things there. I learned a ton. Particularly the importance of personal profile. I didn't realize that. I mean, I've been kind of neglectful of my own profile because I'm one of these that set it up, well, I don't know, 10 years ago in terms of my last edit on that. And I thought that was got to be it. Just totally forgot about it, right? But it's clear I've got to go back and revise that. Is that why firstly, did you know about this? And secondly, what do you reckon? How important is profile with regards to the distribution of reach? I mean, is this something you've experimented with yourself? Or is it something that actually we weren't quite aware of? It's not really as far into the public domain as we might have initially realized. Thoughts on this? Tony, let's go with you first.
Well, I'll give a really good example of it. So two of our biggest client types are management consultancies and recruitment consultancies. And I had one of our management consulting clients a few months ago on a call, and she said to me, Tony, I noticed you've completely doubled down on only serving the management consulting sector. You've completely stopped, trying to win any recruitment business. And I said to her, I haven't changed anything. But what's changed is the LinkedIn algorithm, because you're a management consulting partner and I on my profile say that I serve both of those sectors. But now LinkedIn is only showing you the posts from me that are relevant to what you do. It's not showing you everything that I put out there. And so, yeah, I completely agree with what David said there. The only thing I would add is that it's also your commenting behavior that influences how LinkedIn sees you. So if you comment on lots of the same kind of topics as what you actually post about yourself, that also helps build the credibility of how LinkedIn views you.
Right, very, very interesting. So basically, if you're a free ranger that just roams around LinkedIn and starts popping in comments and posts everywhere, probably ain't going to work for you. You got to just like narrow yourself down, and I guess as niche down as possible. So niche expertise. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed by that, to be honest, because it kind of feels like, okay, everyone's going to have to just get in their box, so to say. But yeah, I can see it. I can see that's why LinkedIn might want to promote that, because an audience of experts, you can subscribe or follow or connect with whoever it is you want to see more of. That kind of make more sense as well. Amy and Misha, directly to you two, all of that stuff from David was brilliant, but there's going to be tons of people that are just never going to get on with it, are they? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it's important, but it's just not on the list of the long list of stuff that they've got to do. If you were to coach sort of someone of that mentality, they're not interested in the how-to and all the rest of it. How would you go about approaching them and sort of educating them on how LinkedIn needs to be taken seriously in the same way that all of us have been on that journey, you know, where we weren't serious about it and suddenly it flicked on. I don't know when that was for everybody, but probably when we started a business and needed more attention and then thought, you know what, actually there's a science behind it. I've asked both of you, but let's go with Amy first on this, and then Misha, go you.
Yeah, thanks, Hung. I suppose for me, you know, I am my own kind of case study. I had been building my brand, I think similar to what David was saying, because I used to be a recruiter and I wanted a really diverse talent pipeline. So I would build my brand before it was even a thing back in 2014, 2015. And that's where I started to really realize the power of LinkedIn and the amount of candidates that came into my pipeline because of the stuff I was talking about, who wanted to work for the company simply because I was just being visible, was very, very profound. So I started building the brand and I realized I was actually in a position, even though it felt like I wasn't, you know, I didn't have the website, I had no idea about how to build a business, but because I had built this brand, it was so, so powerful. And I always say to people, when you're thinking about, you know, building your brand on LinkedIn, we are living in a trust economy. We are in the attention economy. We are in the trust economy. People are buying from people. I hate that expression, but it's so true. And a lot of this stuff probably today, it's been such an amazing session. And honestly, my mind is blown from what David has given us. But I think fundamentally, you have to understand 95% of purchasing decisions are based on how people feel. They're based on emotion. If you can connect with people, at the end of the day, whether you're selling B2B or B2C, it's a human being in this organization that is the budget holder. They are going to be talking about you because you made them feel something or because you added value to their life. And it is down to you as an individual. And what David said about putting I at the beginning of a post, having it from the person, it has never, ever, ever been more important to be that person today. And you know, you see all these big accounts, you see Virgin and these big businesses, Microsoft, but it's actually the founders and the CEOs of those businesses that have the following, not the brands, not the companies. So if I was a founder in a business or someone who wanted to set up a business, like, you are the brand, you are the face of that, and you are going to be the person that people think about when it comes to them choosing a vendor. Like, it's not going to be the brand, it's going to be you, the individual who's actually building that. So I would say it is a hugely powerful platform, and it is the people behind the brand that is where the power is on LinkedIn. And if you just compare, like, the founders in the business and the brand, like, they are the ones with the big following. They are the ones that people make the decision on.
Yeah, I think that's basically a very good way to persuade people, isn't it? Thank you for that, Misha, Amy. But going to you, Misha, like, if you could just, it's basically telling, there's a lot of CEOs and founders, I think, are a little bit reticent in a weird way. You know what I mean? They want to push the company forward first, the corporate brand ahead of them. But it looks as if we're moving towards pretty much a founder-led marketing these days, aren't we? Where, you know, the personal brand of the leader of the business is equivalent to, or at least runs in parallel with the corporate marketing side of it. Have you encountered that type of person? And, you know, have you coached anybody to that effect, where, you know, you've got them to be a little bit more, I guess, front of house than perhaps their natural inclinations have been?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've coached, I think, over 150 people, and they're predominantly founders. So that's a term that I use a lot, founder-led marketing. Like what Amy said, we are an attention economy, and I think it is the most visible wins. So David said it, if you've got a job post out there and no one knows about it, you're not going to get the talent. It's the same for anything. You could have the most incredible product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, how are they going to buy it? And the best way for people to getting buy-in is by becoming attached and connecting to the founder of that company. It really is so important to be visible online, and it's frustrating. It can be really frustrating. Like, I've got tons of friends who started building businesses who have no desire to be online. It's cringe. It feels cringe at the beginning. It absolutely is, but it is so important. And yeah, it is kind of the most visible wins these days. And yeah, I just think it's a really great way for people to connect with the brand when you're building trust with the founder.
Yeah, no doubt. Go ahead, Amy.
Can I just jump in there, Misha? You just made a really good point. It's not just that it's cringe, especially for women building businesses right now or anyone who's in a protected group. Like, it's unsafe. I feel very unsafe on most platforms other than LinkedIn. And like David mentioned before, when you go on LinkedIn, you have to be verified. It's a way more respectful platform. A lot more women and people from underrepresented communities feel safer on this platform. And if you are someone who really wants to build your brand, I always say to people, don't think about, look at me, because I'm from a small town in Ireland. Like, we are not people that like to show off anything. We are like mortified if it comes to building brands and being visible. So I always say, don't say, look at me, look at this. Look at this thing that I just found in a book. I was reading a book and this insight really resonated with me, and serve it up to people on the news feed. That's going to be interesting for them. If it's a statistic or a nugget of, I call it the golden thread. If it's something meaningful that's going to help them do their job better or help them think differently or add insight or light into their day, then you are going to become a very valuable person. And then when it comes to making a decision and put budget towards a service that you're offering, they're going to see you as valuable. They're going to like you, trust you. And that's literally what it boils down to.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Go ahead, Tony.
Just want to say that recruitment businesses in particular are in a fantastic position when it comes to this, because we serve a lot of different types of clients, but we consistently see recruitment founders getting the best visibility on LinkedIn. And if you think about your working day, you have so many stories and anecdotes of things that have happened in the business, of hiring campaigns that have gone wrong, of offers that have got botched, of all sorts of things. And those kind of human personal stories and anecdotes really take off on LinkedIn in terms of getting a lot of engagement and therefore getting a very big distribution. So I know the audience today is largely recruiters, so you're in a lot stronger position than a lot of other users on LinkedIn, I would say.
Do you know what? There's an inherent advantage that recruiters have, isn't it? I mean, firstly, not only the storytelling content that we have access to, because we're speaking to candidates and hiring managers all the time, so there's tons of information there. That's these personal nuggets that we could throw in. But also, I think recruiters have inherently had this networking mentality, or at least you should have. You should have already a bigger network. I think if you took an average recruiter compared to an average accountant, let's say, that the recruiter is going to have times 100 the amount of connections that an accountant will have, simply because of the work. And so we, as an industry or a profession, should really be the dominant creators on LinkedIn. But I don't think we are we, Misha? Have you ever done a study on this? Like, who are the most prominent types of poster on here?
I think probably. I don't know. I reckon recruiters probably post, but not in the way that is going to help you build a personal brand. I'd probably say the people who are most likely to post at the moment are the people who are helping people grow personal brands. So like me and Amy and Tony.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, let's talk about sort of advice to others, because I'm noticing time here as well. We're heard all of this brilliant information. I've got to be honest, some of it seems unrealistic, David. I mean, posting every day. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody could do that, even with any kind of tooling. So how do we firstly become more frequent in posting? Because I find that it's one of those where I speak to a lot of, I'm not an expert, but people come to me and say, oh, Hung, you seem to post regularly. How would you do that? It seems like the hardest thing is to do it with frequency and consistency. What is the secret behind that? Have you got any lessons on your own journey that you could share to basically increase the output? Misha, you got a thought on that?
Yeah, of course. So I think the biggest point here is that consistency is so key. That I think I wrote my first LinkedIn post in 2021, and I was posting ad hoc without any form of strategy, just when I found something interesting or I saw a cool marketing campaign, for 3 years, and literally got nowhere. I then started in October 2024 to take it seriously, and I decided to put all my effort into LinkedIn, posted every day for 30 days, and then kind of dropped down to maybe 6 times a week. And from there, my growth just catapulted. I think I gained 10,000 followers in 3 months. So consistency is so key, but people really overcomplicate LinkedIn. As Tony just said, our lived experience creates content. So if you're building a business and you're having calls with potential clients, current clients, your team, what are the questions that people are asking you? What are the pain points that people are coming? What are the problems that you continuously hear? That is content. And especially now with AI, something that I've been noticing perform really, really well is referencing lived experience. So for instance, 2 weeks ago, I was speaking to a founder of a Series A company. They said this was their biggest problem. People are loving that kind of input because it feels really natural. It feels really real rather than an AI generated post. So don't overcomplicate it. It can be as simple as just taking your experiences and what you're going through and using that to create content.
Yeah, brilliant. So I would describe that as commentating on your day. You know what I mean? As you're getting on your day, just commentate on it, observe it as a third party and saying, you know what's happened here? Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I was just going to say journaling is the biggest thing that we advise people to do, which is basically just building on what Misha said there. Every time you come off a call, every time you come out of a meeting, just jot down what was the one question you were asked in that call, what was the one surprise that came out of the conversation, what was the one embarrassing moment. We have clients just send us WhatsApp voicemails as they come out of meetings and things like that, so that throughout the working week we've just got a flow of ideas. If we ask them at the end of the month, right, what are the things that happened to you this month that would make for good content, their brain would be like a sieve. They wouldn't remember any of those things. But if you capture them, as the day happens, then you're never short of ideas.
Do you know what? That's a classic author technique, isn't it? Like authors basically walk around notebooks. I guess these are voice memos, but they just jot down absolutely every idea because that's the kernel of the content that they produce. Very good. So yeah, have some sort of method of recording the day. Brilliant. Amy, your thoughts on this? How do you increase content output?
Yeah, I love what you both said. And just on that, Tony, apparently Charles Dickens used to work 2 hours in the morning and then he used to spend the rest of the day walking around London, just like tapping into your creative energy. And it's like writing a CV. If you sit down and write your CV and someone's like, oh yeah, just write down all the experience that you've had, you're never going to be able to do it. So journaling, taking photos, voice noting yourself on WhatsApp, using Whisper AI, using whatever tool you use, capture while you're out in the world experiencing life as a human being, when you are engaging with your clients, when you go to a client meeting and you have that real body hum because you've had a really good experience, voice note yourself afterwards. You can transcribe it. You can then pop it in and say, come up with a post. I don't believe in using AI to actually write your post, but like give me ideas for a post based on this thing. And the other thing I would say is people really tend to overcomplicate content and building your brand on LinkedIn. If you are selling into a business, you're trying to get new clients as, let's say, a recruiter or whatever that looks like. Whoever the person is that you're writing to, you need to think about who your target audience is, pick maybe 2 profiles. At the end of the day, they're probably working for a business. Businesses just want to grow. That is the goal of probably 99.9% of businesses. They want to grow. People within that business and the C-suite or in the leadership team, they are going to be tasked to contribute to that growth. What are they being measured on? If your target person is a head of HR, what are their KPIs? What is keeping them awake at night? There's going to be 2-3 common problems that they are currently experiencing in their role. What is the pain point? And how can you then create content that is going to make their life easier, that is going to be a nugget of insight or a new article that's going to be interesting for them, or a new piece of research or something that can speak to the pain point that actually will make their life better. And again, that is going to be making you a valuable person to them, so that then when they are looking for someone to help them hire or whatever that looks like, they're going to come to you when the decision is being made, because you've already it's your personal brand. You've already created yourself as a person of value in their mind. So it's just really simplifying what do people actually want. And they come on social media thinking about themselves, not thinking about you. We're all just looking at the world through our own lens. How does this affect me? How is this going to, improve my life? And I think it's just understanding how people actually are, how people think.
Yeah, I think that's really quite insightful, Amy. Quite advanced as well, like writing content or producing content that addresses the problems of the people that you might be trying to sell a service to, that obviously makes sense. But I think that's quite advanced sort of step. We probably need a Brain Food Live sort of part 2 on this topic in order to get there. Brilliant stuff. Okay, listen, I know we're like flying through sort of towards the end of time here, so I don't want to keep anybody's sort of day any further than we are. I just want to thank sort of our audience for joining and paying attention to us. Hope you've enjoyed it. I want to thank our panelists here as well. So Tony Restell, Misha Collins, and Amy Weeden. And thanks for coming and joining the conversation. I wish we had longer to chat, but David basically hogged more of the time than I anticipated. And of course, David, I know, thank you so much for sharing some of your wisdom with us. Super interesting for us to review. I dare say there's going to be a part 2 on this. In fact, as there is a quarterly report that David, I don't know how he prefers it, is actually sort of doing. I wonder whether we just like kind of parallel against that and then and keep up to date with it. All right, that's it. After everyone go, Tony, Misha, Amy, thank you for joining. You have a good day. Everybody else, thanks for paying attention. We'll be back next week, of course. Brain Food Live on air all the time, every week. Next week, you're going to want to tune into this because it's going to be a show kind of directly linked to using AI, because it's optimizing recruiter workflows with artificial intelligence, with live examples. Folks, unbeknownst to all of you, I've been setting up a secret group of AI experts, or at least recruiters that are AI experts, really pushing it to the frontier. I'm calling them the AI Brain Trust. They're there helping me get educated on how all of this works. They're going to come on one by one and do a demo on one recruiter workflow each that they've managed to optimize with free to use, or at least cheap to use AI. I guarantee you want to be signing into this. The show is already available for you to register, so make sure you do that. If you're interested in this kind of conversation, of course, follow the channel on Crowdcast. I do this every week. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, hover over to my profile, my soon-to-be edited profile, and follow that, because I LinkedIn live stream there as well, the same show on Fridays. Okay, that's about it. I hope you're all well. I'll see you next week.